Hello everybody, my name is ProfRich, and today we are talking IELTS, and we're talking the topic of the environment. So if you're joining us live in chat, I've asked a question there in chat, and you can type your answers to that question right now, and that is, what words come to mind when you think of the environment? This is a good way to get your mind tuned in to a topic in English before we go into some detail. Hello to everybody who's joining us live. And we have a number of suggestions already answering this question from Bing Dick and, Big Zung. I don't know why I said Bing. Big Zung and Renit Deshuka says recycle, deforestation, biosphere. Excellent words there. We've got reuse, recycle, and reproduce. Reproduce, okay. Normally with reuse and recycle, there's a different R that comes to mind. But hey ho. Hello. Sleepwalker, atmosphere, environmentalist, the person, and pollution. Alexia with a whole list of words there. Manjula. So, looking at these pictures here, there's 5 pictures. I'm going to tell you 5 words to match with those pictures. I'd like you to match the words with the pictures. 1 to 5, from top left to bottom right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to type the words in the chat right now. Maybe you know the answer without even seeing the words. Or maybe not. So the words will be on your screen in just a moment. And I want you to match these words to the pictures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make it happen. If you would like to join me live today with some IELTS practice and feedback, I will post the link to a Zoom call into the chat right now. And you can join. Please use your YouTube nickname. Please use your YouTube nickname when joining. The link is in the chat. Zoom has changed everything, you know. Now it's a new application, and that's how they do things now. I don't know. If you use the old system of meeting ID and passcode, I'll put that in the chat as well. Tweeting Cow says, Teacher Rich, nice meeting you. Well, you have met me before. So, in this case, we might say, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. And we have a full set of answers from Dilani, posing as Manjula. I will confirm in a moment if those answers are correct. Let's just wait another 30 seconds or so for everyone else to catch up. Vocabulary related to the environment. Let me disappear or go smaller for a second so you can see everything there. And I think this is also a good moment to say, if you're joining us for the first time, smash that like button and hit subscribe. We do live streams twice a week We might be going to 3 times a week, and we're trying new things. This is the place to learn English. This is the place to be. All questions answered at the end of the stream. All comments replied to below the video. So smash that like button and hit subscribe. Make sure you don't miss any of the future streams, live on Wednesdays and Saturdays. All right. So Manjula says, number 1, habitat. That's right. That's a habitat. Sometimes we can call it a natural habitat. The habitat is the home. Habitat basically means home. It's the place where an animal lives. So a natural habitat is the place where an animal lives in nature. Number 2 is pollution. Pollution is the noun to describe the concept or idea, but we can also use it to describe the thing. If we want to be more specific, we might call the thing pollutants. Pollutants. And pollutants are the actual chemicals themselves. So in air, we might call things like nitrous oxide or carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, ozone, O3. We might call these pollutants if they are in certain quantities. In the top right, number 3, we have biome. So these are types of biome. Biome being basically a biological classification of an area where things live. Bio, of course, means life. Biome is the place where life lives. Types of biome: ocean, forest, desert, grasslands. These are different types of biome. Bottom left, number 4, that is biodegradable waste. Full name, biodegradable waste. Now, in this specific case, we probably have something called compost. So compost is when you use waste from your house, like food waste, and you make something that you can use for your garden to help it grow. That's compost. But actually, biodegradable waste is any kind of waste which will degrade. That means kind of destroy itself or erode naturally, biologically. So we just put it in the environment and it degrades biologically within a short amount of time. We could actually say that, plastic will biodegrade, but it takes like 2,000 years. So that's not biodegradable. We don't call plastic biodegradable. And then in the bottom right, we have fossil fuels. Fossil fuels, natural gas, petroleum, petrol, and coal. Why are they called fossil fuels? Well, it's a bit weird, bit of a long explanation, but basically you have these things called fossils. And the fossil is what's left of little creatures from millions of years ago. So you have little creatures millions of years ago. They die, go into the ground, and then millions of years later we have fossils. Fossils. This is like the bodies of the creatures kind of in the rock and all sorts of chemical reactions. And then another million years and you get coal, oil, etc., etc. So that's why it's called fossil fuels, because the fuel comes from the dead bodies of small creatures, which we call fossils. So fossil fuels are rare. I don't think rare is quite the right word, but fossil fuels are limited. Limited would be more of the word there, Alexia. They are limited. They are non-renewable. Non-renewable, limited. In this case, they're not dinosaur fossils, Dwi. They are the fossils of very small creatures, not like dinosaurs, but that's good that you have that vocabulary relating to fossils as well. That's right. Fossilized and then extracted. So not rare, because they're all over the world, actually, fossils, but they are limited and they are non-renewable. And also, a problem with fossil fuels is that when we use them, we often release a lot of pollution or pollutants into the atmosphere. And that can cause a problem, according to some scientists. The majority of scientists actually think that that's a problem. But I have to say that some people think it's not a problem, some scientists as well. So it's not exactly uncontroversial. As you know, I'm someone who believes we should question everything. So I'm just providing the devil's advocate position. So let's see if we have Cao Zui Hung. Who is Cao Zui Hung? Please use... Oh, Zui, it's Zui. Zui, you want to come on? You want to speak IELTS? Let me also put the invitation in the chat again for anyone else. We're going to do some IELTS practice live. And if you would like to do that, then join the Zoom meeting. So, Zui, you will need to mute the stream so you don't have echo, okay? Are you ready? Don't worry, it's not preparation, it's just practice, Zui. You might try next time. Do you want to try someone else first? We try someone else first. The link's in the chat if anyone wants to join. You know, Sleepwalker, my wife is Vietnamese and I still don't really understand which name is appropriate in which situation. which is funny, isn't it? All right then. Let's use Mr. Oh, I've just realized I'm not sure that the settings are quite right for this meeting because I don't want video to come on for other people. Just 1 second, folks. That should all work now, I think. All right, let's try it. Hello there.
Hello there.
Hello, Manuel. How are you doing?
Hey, pues in this moment, hey,
How are you doing?
yes, in this moment, having a class with Rich.
And you've got your camera on, which is something I tried not to do. I'm going to stop your video. I'm going to stop your video. And I can hear myself because you've got the stream going as well. Can hear myself because you've got the stream going as well. Okay, I'll mute you for a second, Manuel. You figure that out. So basically, you need to stop the audio for the stream. Have you managed it, Manuel? That sounds good, I think. Hello? Good, I think. No, hello? I can still hear myself. Do you have some headphones, Manuel? That might work better if you got headphones. Hello? No, I'm still getting echo, Manuel. So I'll put you back in the waiting room. I can hear myself, Manuel, through your microphone. So I can't do it if I can hear myself through your microphone. I don't know if that's because you have the stream on or it's because you don't have headphones. But yeah, it doesn't work. Cow, do you want to try? Let's try Cow. I thought it was Zui. Okay, maybe no one feels. Hello.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you, but it's not very suitable for me to have.
Oh, you can't talk at the moment because of your roommate, right? Okay, let's do it another time, Cal. Thank you. Another time when it's more suitable. All right, fine. No participants. So this is note to self. We don't do these on Wednesday anymore. We do them on Saturday. Okay, folks, let's go to Q&A. Let's go straight to Q&A. Questions and answers. What questions have you got for me? I wanted to talk about the environment, but technical problems and that's not working. So let's move on. We'll try the environment again another day. Let's go to question time. Question time. Any questions that you have about English? What can I help you with? Questions about English. Go for it. Sleepwalker says, Rich, there are passive voice and active voice. Can you tell me a little bit about middle voice with examples? Excuse me? I see. So middle voice. Middle voice is something that only applies to certain verbs. And it's the idea that the subject both does the action and is done by the action. So an example would be, my sausages are cooking on the barbecue, or even just the sausages cooked on the barbecue. The sausages cooked on the barbecue. So this is like the sausages are cooked, but also they cook. So it's this idea of, it's almost like a double meaning. And it's when the verb, it has the element of being both passive and active. Manuel did join, Cow. Manuel did join, but his audio was echoing. So we can't do it if we have the echo like that. So there's something about Manuel's setup. Maybe he has the audio coming from speakers or something like that, and that causes a problem with the audio. It's a shame, but I can't do it if we have an echo like that. So, yeah, essentially the idea of middle voice is like passive and active together. It only applies to certain verbs. We might think of them as reflexive verbs. And basically the subject acts as both doer and object, basically. I'd never, by the way, I had never heard of middle voice before you mentioned it. It's the first time I heard of it. So I would say that the idea of middle voice is quite unimportant for learners of English. But perhaps if you want to study literature, then middle voice could be more important. Ergative verbs. Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. Ergative verbs. That's what we're talking about. Yes, open. The door opened. Is that right? Yeah, because the door does the opening, but also it is the door which is opened. So that sounds about right to me. An ergative verb changes objects into subjects without needing to use a passive. We could call this sometimes the middle voice. That's exactly it. So it is a thing. It is a thing, but it is ergative verbs. You're right. By the way, when we say middle voice is a thing, Vitelli, what we mean is there's an idea called middle voice, and some people use the term middle voice to describe something in the language. And that thing is the use of ergative verbs. Now, whether we agree with the term middle voice or not, that's another conversation. But after being against using these terms for years, I've now come to a pragmatic position where I appreciate students just want to know about this stuff. And so now I'll use it and talk about them. And I don't pass too much judgment over what terms are good to use and what aren't. I think a lot of that is up to you as a student. I would encourage you to focus entirely on communication and don't worry a lot about any sort of analytical terms or meta language, but I'm happy to talk about it. The fruits continued to be stolen. Is it middle voice? No, it's not. The fruits continued to be stolen is actually primarily active voice with a passive clause, a passive subordinate clause. So your active voice is the fruits continued with the object being to be stolen or the complement being to be stolen. And then the subordinate clause to be stolen is passive clause. Does waste sorting work well in England? It's not bad, Sonia. It's not bad. But, I mean, people are very aware of recycling here. And I think it works better here than in some countries. But also it depends on the local administration. So different councils do it different ways. So you'll probably find, for example, that in Oxford or Cambridge is very good. But who knows about other places? Yeah, that's it. That's it, Manuel. Melt. Melt is one. The chocolate melted. That's one. Yeah, I would imagine so, Sonia. I have a few students from Italy. It's very interesting talking to them about the G7 and things going on with that. You know, the G7 is in Italy at the moment, Sonia. I think it's in Bologna. Very hot place, isn't it, Bologna? Oh, what a question. What's the difference between an environmentalist and a conservationist? To some extent, Sleepwalker, this is a political question, but I'll do my best to give an overview. A conservationist wants to preserve the natural world. So some ideas of things that a conservationist wants would be don't cut down all the forests. Don't pour chemicals into the river. Don't build a load of windmills in the natural park. Okay. So that's the idea of a conservationist. But then an environmentalist is more like wants to prioritize the well-being of the environment. So this might mean reduce carbon or eliminate carbon emissions, like human-made carbon emissions. Use renewable energy sources. Things like that. Of course, as I said, it's a bit of a political question. It depends. Whenever you have an ist, then you know that it's kind of a political question, right? Ist. The whole idea of an ist or an ism is that it's someone who, it's about the belief system, right? When we have an ism, that's like the belief system focused on one specific thing, and an ist is a person who has that belief system as a core principle. So whenever we have an ist and an ism, it's always going to be a question of politics to some extent. So what is a conservationist and an environmentalist? Well, I think it's something like that, those two ideas. So basically, what someone might say, for example, is a conservationist might, for example, agree with nuclear power but not wind power, because wind power causes more damage to the landscape than nuclear power. But an environmentalist might prefer wind power because of concerns about the safety of nuclear power. So something like that. Oh yeah, I'm sure. I mean, that's the public agreements, right, Sonia? But the secret agreements, I think they probably do put into practice. But of course, the public ones, yeah, that's all for show. But I know, Sonia, I know there was a big deal about Rishi and Georgia. Rishi and Georgia had a moment, right? So this wasn't big in the UK press, but in the Italian press they really had a lot of pictures of Rishi and Georgia. Oh, there they are. Rishi and Georgia, everybody. This is the Prime Minister of Italy and the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. They're just friends. Just friends. Plavi said, what do these mean and what's the difference between them? Several days, a few days, a couple of days, a while, and soon. That's interesting. Let's move on to that. Several days. So, let's say I haven't eaten for, several days, a few days, a couple of days, a while, and soon doesn't really make any sense in that context. I haven't eaten for several days, a few days, a couple of days, a while. You know, pretty much, Pallavi, you can put those words in that order in terms of length. So several days sounds like sort of 3 to 4 or 3 to 5 days. A few days sounds like sort of 3 to 4 days. A couple of days sounds like 2 to 3 days. And a couple is 2 to 3, by the way. It's not just 2. And then a while is a relative time, which can be short or long, depending on context. So with a while, it really depends on context. Like, I haven't heard anything from him in a while. That's like, a long time, right? But then also, we could say, it's been a while. You should check the pizza in the oven. That's obviously a short time. So, a while is a relative time, which is very contextual. And soon. Soon is a short time in the future. Carl says, I'd like to know if there's any difference between farther and further. No, there isn't. So basically you have an adjective far, and far is one of the few irregular adjective forms in English. And when you change it into the comparative form, you can say further or farther, and also the furthest or the farthest. It's just an irregular form, and there's basically no difference between them. Nothing confusing, just means just two ways of saying the same thing. Conservationists, sometimes a bit overrated. We have a myriad of panels and solar place which take advantage of the sun. Environmentalist, fortunately, is not as hooligan as the others. I think that's kind of the opposite in my experience, Manuel. But maybe it's how the terms are used in Spain. But here in the UK, it's environmentalists who are quite extreme, whereas conservationists tend to be quite conservative, you know? Like, let me give you a picture of someone I think is a conservationist and someone I think is an environmentalist. And maybe you'll get some idea of this. So this is Johnny Ball, if you can see him. He is a conservationist. He was a BBC presenter, and he doesn't believe that carbon emissions cause climate change, but he is very in favor of protecting the natural world. So he's a conservationist. This is Just Stop Oil. They are environmentalists. So yeah. That's from my perspective. As I've said, whenever it comes to ist and ism, then we can disagree. Does soon mean within a week? It's contextual, Pallavi. It's contextual. So soon is a short time in the future. What's a short time? Well, it depends, doesn't it? Like, for example, Pallavi, if I say I'm quite tall, right? About me, right? I'm quite tall. Well, compared to what? I mean, what do you think is quite tall? Like, we could ask everyone in chat, what is quite tall? You tell me what is quite tall in centimeters. What's quite tall? Right? Cow, what do you think for quite tall? No, it's hay fever, Julia. Hay fever. Hay fever. I'm going to have to stop using Zoom. I'm absolutely going to have to stop using Zoom. So what? I can't start a meeting now. Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't think I'm going to put this stream on the channel, by the way. So this is all just for you guys. For a few reasons, not least of all because of the technical problems are driving me crazy. Ta-da, I'm back. We're going directly from my webcam now, which who knows what wonderful issues that might cause. But for the moment, we are absolutely fine. Oh, there is a difference, isn't there? Slight difference. No one have any ideas? What is it right? What's quite tall in centimeters? Okay, 180 centimeters. Is that quite tall? I think that's quite tall. Now, for my wife, who's Vietnamese, that is very tall, right? She would think that 170 is quite tall, right? For my wife. But for me, that's quite tall. Now, there are places in the United States where most people are over the height of 185 centimeters. So actually, 180 is quite short. It's quite short. So the point I'm making here is it's relative. So when we say soon, is soon in a week, is soon in a day, a few days, is soon in a month. It could be any of those things, right? Could be any, like, we will cure cancer soon. In what, 5 years? Yeah, 5 years could be soon, right? I will end the stream soon. Well, that's not 5 years, is it? That's like 5 minutes. Actually, I actually really need to go now because I need to go and do something. Oh, that sucks, Plavi. Drink some water and take ibuprofen, but only with food. Only with food. Ibuprofen helps me a lot with my headaches, but you must have it with food. Not without food, otherwise you get stomach problems. That's real. All right, folks, it's been fun. I'll leave this stream up for people to look at, but just today and tomorrow, it's gone. It's gone. Too many technical problems. All right, folks. So thank you very much for joining me today. I will be back on Saturday, and over the summer, we may have lots more streams than usual. So look out for that if you'd like to come and learn English. And I want to do more live stuff. So please get headphones so that there's no echo if you want to come on live. Okay? And yeah, we'll definitely try that again. We'll definitely try that again. All right. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. And I want to try it with you again, Manuel, because I know it would be fun to have you on live. And I think people would like to hear some of your opinions, because you always have interesting stories to tell. So let's try and sort out that echo, Manuel. I think it's because it came from your speakers. If there's a way you could use headphones, maybe I think that would help. All right. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a lovely day, and I'll catch